There's a strange moment that catches a lot of men off guard. After weeks of silence, just when you finally stopped checking your phone every few minutes and moved on, she texts you. Suddenly she's back. But why? Why does she return right when you finally let go? The answer lies in something powerful and often misunderstood: emotional detachment. Let's break down what really goes on in a woman's mind when you stop chasing and start reclaiming your peace, and why that shift makes her come back almost like clockwork. 1. Why detachment triggers her curiosity. When a man becomes emotionally detached, it creates a major shift in the dynamic, one that women instantly pick up on. Women are naturally intuitive when it comes to emotions. They're sensitive to the energy you give off and how it changes. So when you suddenly go quiet, stop texting, and genuinely stop caring, it throws them off balance. The man who used to react, chase, and constantly try to fix things is now calm, centered, and unbothered. That silence, it's loud to her. She starts asking herself questions. Why did he stop reaching out? Is he over me? Did he find someone new? This internal questioning stirs up emotions she wasn't expecting to feel. That's the power of detachment. It removes your energy from her space, and that void triggers curiosity. It creates mystery. And in relationships, mystery is powerful. You're no longer predictable. You're no longer accessible. And that change forces her to focus on you in a way she hadn't before. It's human nature. People crave what's just out of reach. Emotional detachment flips the script. It puts you in a position of power without saying a single word. What's important here is that this shift can't be faked. It has to come from genuinely letting go. When you stop needing answers, validation, or closure from her, she feels it. That detachment is magnetic. It pulls her attention back, often stronger than any message you could send. Not because you wanted her back, but because you didn't. 2. Women are drawn to power, not neediness. There's a harsh truth that a lot of men learn the hard way. Emotional neediness kills attraction. When you're overly available, always texting, or seeking constant reassurance, it doesn't feel like love to her, it feels like pressure. That energy repels her because it signals a lack of confidence and self-worth. And while you might think your efforts are showing love and loyalty, they're often interpreted as desperation. On the other hand, when you detach and stop needing her validation, your entire vibe changes. You no longer come across as someone trying to earn her love. You become someone who values himself enough to walk away when he's not respected. And that's when everything shifts. Women are instinctively drawn to strength, confidence, and emotional control. When you let go and stop trying to fix things, you show her that you're capable of standing alone. That's powerful. It tells her, I'm not afraid to lose you if it means I keep my peace. The moment she feels that shift, her perception of you changes. She starts to respect you more. Not because you played a game, but because you stopped playing hers. She realizes you're not waiting around, and that realization stings. Because now you're not chasing her anymore. The truth is, a man who doesn't need her attention becomes 10 times more attractive than the man who constantly seeks it. Power is silent. Power is still. And power doesn't beg. It lets people choose, knowing it doesn't lose anything either way. 3. Your absence forces her to face the consequences. As long as you're available, reaching out, liking her posts, or checking in just to see how she's doing, she never really feels the full weight of losing you. Your presence cushions the breakup. It softens the blow. And because you're still in her life in some way, she doesn't feel the consequences of walking away. You've made it easy for her to emotionally coast. But when you detach, truly detach, and disappear from her life, everything changes. She's forced to confront what life looks like without you. That comfort, attention, and emotional support she once got from you is suddenly gone. Now she has to sit with the silence. She has to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're no longer reaching out. That absence creates discomfort, and discomfort leads to reflection. This is when the tables turn. She begins to feel the emotional pain she expected you to feel. She thought you'd fall apart. She assumed you'd beg for another chance. But instead, you walked away with dignity and stayed gone. That's when she starts replaying old memories, questioning her decisions, and slowly realizing what she gave up. You didn't do this to manipulate her. You did it to protect your peace. But in doing so, you gave her a rare experience, the full consequence of her choices. No texts, no closure, just silence. And in that silence, she's left to wonder if she made the biggest mistake of her life. 4. Detachment rebuilds your value in her eyes. When a woman walks away, it often happens because in her eyes your value had decreased, maybe not as a person but as a romantic figure. Whether through neediness, over-availability, or emotional instability, something shifted and caused her to lose respect. But here's the twist. When you detach, you begin to rebuild that value without doing anything directly toward her. Emotional detachment says, I'm not chasing, I'm healing, I'm focused on me now. That's not a performance, it's a recalibration of your energy. When she sees that you've stopped reaching out, stopped begging, and stopped reacting, she begins to reevaluate. The man she once felt she had emotional control over now feels out of reach. And that makes her question everything. You stop being the guy she left behind and start becoming the man she overlooked. The more she sees you thriving without her, the more your image transforms in her mind. You're no longer emotionally dependent. You're a man who knows his worth. And in her eyes, that kind of man is rare. It's not the silence alone that brings her back. It's the message the silence sends. I don't need you to be whole. That kind of self-respect is magnetic. She might not show it immediately, but behind the scenes, she's watching, she's wondering, and she's rethinking everything. So when you detach, understand this. You're not losing her. You're reintroducing her to the version of you she never appreciated. And that version, that's the one she starts to crave. 5. The power of being unbothered. There's a calm confidence in a man who refuses to let anyone disrupt his inner peace. When a woman senses that you're no longer emotionally reactive, that you're not chasing, not arguing, not trying to prove your worth, she feels a shift in the dynamic. That shift is what makes her look back. Being unbothered doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your peace than about controlling the outcome. You're no longer emotionally invested in someone who didn't value you. That mindset is rare, and that's exactly what draws her attention. Most men panic when a woman leaves. They over-explain, send long messages, try to win her back. But the man who stays calm, the one who moves forward without bitterness, that man becomes unpredictable. And unpredictability triggers curiosity. When you're unbothered, you show that you've stopped playing her emotional game. You're not waiting around. You're not reacting to her silence or her mixed signals. And because of that, she's the one who feels the loss. She expected you to break down, but you leveled up. Now every move you make in silence sends a loud message. I'm good without you. That message is what shifts her perspective. It's what makes her reach out again, not out of love necessarily, but because the emotional power has shifted. So understand this, your peace, your silence, your detachment, that's not weakness, that's strength. And in most cases, it's the very thing that makes her come back. Fellas, the moment you stop chasing, stop reacting, and start focusing on yourself, that's when everything changes. You stop being the guy who waits around and start becoming the man who moves forward with power and peace. Women feel that shift. They notice when your energy pulls back, not to punish them, but to protect your own dignity. Remember, emotional detachment isn't about games or manipulation, it's about self-respect. When you let go of what no longer serves you, the universe has a way of bringing everything back into balance. Sometimes that means she returns. Sometimes it means you realize you deserve better. Either way, you win. So if you're in that silent phase, don't break it. Don't reach out. Let your silence speak volumes. Let her feel what life is like without your presence, because if she truly valued you, she'll come back. And if she doesn't, you just made space for someone who will. If this message hit home, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling me where you're at in your journey. Until next time, stay focused, stay strong, and always remember, your peace is your power.